The silence of a humid July night in the American South was not truly silent for those who knew how to listen. If you find yourself captivated by the shadows of our past and the strength of those who defied them, consider subscribing to the Ink of History, where we unravel the threads of human resilience. Imagine a cabin, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and wood smoke. Inside, a woman sits by the dying embers of a hearth, her fingers calloused but nimble, stitching together scraps of discarded fabric. To an overseer passing by, it is merely a blanket for warmth, a humble necessity of survival. But to the eyes that have been taught the secret geometry of freedom, that pattern is a map. It is a language written in thread, a silent telegram sent across the miles of darkness toward the North Star. This is not just sewing. This is a battle plan. This is the story of the Quilt Codes, a clandestine navigational system used by the enslaved people of America to navigate the treacherous path of the Underground Railroad. How did a simple woven square become the difference between a life of chains and the perilous hope of liberty? To understand the stakes, we must step back into the landscape of the early 19th century. This was an era where the law itself treated human beings as mobile property, bound by iron and enforced by the lash. In the shadow of the plantation system, where literacy for the enslaved was strictly prohibited and communication was monitored by the constant threat of the whip, the human spirit sought cracks in the foundation. The enslaved population was not a passive victim of history. They were tactical thinkers, innovators, and masters of subversion. They knew that in a world where speech could be dangerous and written notes could be confiscated, they needed a medium of communication that was invisible in plain sight. They chose the domestic sphere, the one place where they were often overlooked by the masters. They turned the mundane act of quilting into a sophisticated code. Consider the figure of Sarah, an enslaved woman on a large tobacco plantation in Virginia. Sarah was a skilled seamstress, her work prized by the mistress of the house. Every day, she worked under the watchful eyes of the overseer, yet her mind was constantly plotting. Sarah was part of a covert network, a web of individuals who shared information through songs, religious parables, and, most importantly, the patterns hanging on clotheslines. She knew that if she hung a quilt featuring the monkey wrench pattern, it signaled that it was time to gather tools and prepare for a journey. A pattern known as the wagon wheel meant that the traveler should pack their supplies in a wagon, signaling readiness for the long road ahead. These were not random decorations. They were specific instructions, evolving as the needs of the network shifted. The complexity of these codes was their greatest defense. A traveler would look for specific symbols as they moved from one safe house to another. The bear claw pattern, often stitched with specific colors, indicated a route through the mountains where food and water could be found. The crossroads pattern suggested taking a path that led away from the plantation and toward the main road where a contact could be waiting. Each quilt was a chapter in a survival manual. The masters saw only poverty and utility in these clotheslines, never suspecting that the very objects meant to keep their property warm under their roofs were also the agents of their property's departure. It was a war of intelligence, fought with needle and thread, and the intelligence, for the most part, stayed hidden. As the years passed, the Underground Railroad became more organized, and the patterns grew more sophisticated. The log cabin pattern, with its red center square, often signaled a safe house, a place where a traveler could find asylum among Quaker abolitionists or free black communities. Imagine the tension of reading these signs while listening for the baying of hounds in the distance. Every step was a calculation. Every quilt was a beacon. There were no maps in the traditional sense, for a map could be found and used against you. The map was in the memory triggered by the visual cues of the quilt. This form of communication required an extraordinary level of trust and collective memory. If one person failed to remember the meaning of a pattern, the entire line of communication could break. The danger was always present. Slave patrols were aggressive, constantly searching for anyone off the plantation without a pass. They relied on the fear of the unknown to keep the population in check. Yet, the enslaved people used that same fear to their advantage. They understood that the enslavers looked down on them, assuming they lacked the intellectual capacity to organize such a complex system. This prejudice was the most effective weapon in the arsenal of the resistance. By hiding their intelligence behind the mask of invisibility, those seeking freedom operated in a world that the oppressors could not see. It is a profound irony that the very tools used to keep the system running, like the sewing rooms and the drying yards, were repurposed as the transmission lines for the struggle for liberty. The strategies were not limited to these codes alone. They were integrated into a wider strategy of resistance. Songs were used to transmit directions, with lyrics being subtly altered to include instructions. A song about going to heaven might, in reality, be a song about crossing the Ohio River. The quilt codes were the structural backbone, the visual reinforcement of these messages. When a traveler reached a crossroads, they would look for a quilt hanging on a fence. The pattern would confirm the way. It was a system of peer-to-peer relay that functioned without any centralized command, making it nearly impossible for the authorities to dismantle. It was decentralized, resilient, and deeply human. We must reflect on the sheer endurance required to sustain this system. We are talking about generations of people who lived under the constant threat of family separation, physical assault, and psychological degradation. Yet, they maintained a secret culture of resistance. They cared for one another, educated their children in the art of the code, and protected the routes of the Underground Railroad with their lives. The bravery of these individuals is often lost in the broad strokes of historical textbooks. We focus on the battles and the legislation, but we often overlook the quiet, persistent struggle that happened in the dark corners of the plantation. This was the struggle for individual dignity and the right to control one's own life. The consequence of this struggle was the steady, silent erosion of the institution of slavery itself. Every person who escaped was a blow to the economic system that relied on forced labor. Every quilt that hung on a line was a symbol of defiance that echoed far beyond the plantation walls. The masters knew that people were disappearing, but they could never quite figure out how it was happening. They chased shadows. They looked for conspirators in the wrong places. They never suspected the clothesline. The resilience of the human spirit is something that cannot be fully contained by iron bars or legal statutes. It finds a way to manifest itself in the most unexpected places. As we look back, we must ask ourselves what we can learn from this chapter of history. It teaches us that resistance is not always about overt confrontation. Sometimes, it is about the quiet, daily persistence of those who refuse to accept their status as property. It is about the ability to create meaning in a world designed to strip it away. It is about the power of community, even when that community is being actively suppressed. The quilt codes are a testament to the idea that knowledge is the ultimate currency of liberation. Those who could read the patterns were the gatekeepers of freedom, ensuring that those who followed could navigate the path to the north. The history of the Underground Railroad is not just a tale of travel. It is a tapestry of lives intertwined by the necessity of survival. There were many, like Sarah, whose names were never recorded in any official document, but whose legacy is woven into the very fabric of American culture. The art of quilting, which flourished in these communities, became a way to honor those who had made the journey and to pass down the memory of those who stayed behind, kept the oral traditions alive, connecting the past to the future. The patterns themselves evolved, carrying the weight of history and the aspiration of future generations. If we look closely at these patterns, we see the geometry of a struggle. We see the triangles of the bear claw, the squares of the log cabin, and the radial symmetry of the wagon wheel. These are not just designs. They are the visual records of a people who were fighting to define their own destiny. They demonstrate a high level of mathematical thinking, spatial awareness, and strategic planning. Those who dismiss this as simple domestic work are missing the point entirely. This was a sophisticated, high-stakes operation that demanded nerves of steel and an unwavering commitment to the cause of freedom. The legacy of this resistance continues today. It lives on in the stories we tell, the art we create, and the way we remember the struggles of the past. It reminds us that even in the darkest times, there is a way to find light. It reminds us that progress is the result of countless small, individual acts of courage. We are the beneficiaries of that courage, whether we realize it or not. The fight for equality and justice is an ongoing process, a continuous thread that we must keep weaving into the fabric of our society. The work is never truly finished, but we draw strength from those who came before us. As we reach the conclusion of this investigation, consider the weight of the silence that once surrounded these stories. There was a time when these codes were literally a matter of life and death, kept secret even after freedom was achieved. It was only through the dedication of descendants and historians that these patterns were finally recognized for what they truly were. They were the silent architects of the path to liberty. They were the keys that unlocked the doors to the future for thousands of people. The mystery of the quilt codes is not just a historical curiosity. It is a profound lesson in human agency. We have explored the hooks of the hook, the context of the struggle, and the strategies of the brave. We have seen how a simple piece of fabric could become a silent herald of change. The Underground Railroad was not a physical train, but a movement of people, fueled by the desire for humanity and the audacity to claim it. It is a story that demands our respect and our continued attention. If you have found value in this journey through the shadowed past, and you want to continue uncovering the hidden chapters of human history, make sure to stay connected with our community. Hit the subscribe button to join us at the Ink of History, where we value the truth and the depth of the stories that have shaped our present. Your support helps us preserve these narratives, ensuring that the voices of those who fought in the dark are never silenced by the passage of time. Beyond the historical facts, there is an emotional truth that we must allow to resonate. The quilt codes represent a triumph of the intellect and the spirit over a system explicitly designed to crush both. It is a story of hope, even when the horizon offered only the possibility of recapture or death. It is a story of faith in the unknown. Imagine stepping out into the night, guided only by the memory of a pattern you saw on a line, crossing rivers and mountains, never knowing if the next turn would lead to safety or entrapment. That is the essence of courage. It is the ability to act in the face of uncertainty because the goal is greater than the self. Think of the children who were taught these codes, who had to learn the language of the quilts before they could even understand the full reality of their condition. Think of the elderly who kept the memories alive, passing them on like a sacred legacy of resistance. These were people who lived with the constant, crushing reality of their situation, yet they found a way to act. They were not waiting for change. They were creating it. Their actions prove that no matter how restrictive the environment, the human mind will always find a way to communicate, to plan, and to move toward liberty. Our modern world often feels disconnected from these realities, yet the echoes of these struggles are still present in our contemporary debates about justice and equity. We are still grappling with the legacies of the systems that necessitated these codes. The history of the Underground Railroad is not an isolated event. It is a core part of the American experience, and understanding it is essential to understanding the national identity. We cannot fully appreciate where we are if we do not understand the paths our predecessors had to forge through the wilderness. The mystery of how these codes were disseminated across states, surviving the vast distances and the differing local conditions, remains one of the most fascinating aspects of this research. It suggests a level of communication and network building that we are only just beginning to fully appreciate. It suggests that there was an informal but highly effective intelligence network spread across the South. Every region had its own variations, its own nuances, and its own ways of keeping the secrets safe. This diversity of practice only adds to the complexity and the intrigue of the system. We must also recognize the role of those who were not enslaved, but who risked everything to support the network. The abolitionists, the conductors, and the safe housekeepers were part of a broader struggle that transcended race and class. They saw the injustice of the system and chose to act. They were the ones who provided the food, the shelter, and the guidance that allowed the travelers to continue their journey. They were the quiet allies in the war for freedom. Without them, the Underground Railroad would not have been the success that it was. The quilt codes serve as a reminder that history is not just about the powerful figures who leave behind official records. It is also about the anonymous, the marginalized, and the ignored. It is about the people who left behind no diaries, no paintings, and no monuments, but who left behind a legacy of survival and defiance. Their story is written in the patterns of their quilts, the lyrics of their songs, and the endurance of their descendants. It is our responsibility to keep these stories alive, to honor their struggle, and to learn from their resilience. Reflecting on the nature of peace, we see that it is not merely the absence of conflict but the presence of justice. The enslaved people of the South were fighting for a peace that had been denied to them by the brutal reality of their existence. Their struggle was a testament to the pursuit of a human condition characterized by autonomy and mutual respect. They fought not only for their own escape but for the right to belong to themselves. This is a fundamental human right, and the history of their fight is a call to continue the work of ensuring that this right is protected for everyone. The journey through the history of the quilt codes brings us to a place of deeper understanding. We have seen how the domestic became the strategic, how the silent became the communicative, and how the oppressed became the authors of their own liberation. We have seen that the history of American resistance is as much about the mind as it is about the body. The quilt codes are a beacon, shining through the long night of history, reminding us that even the most desperate situations can be navigated if we have the right knowledge and the courage to act. As we conclude this exploration, let us carry with us the lesson that resilience is not a static trait. It is a practice, a daily commitment to survival and growth. The people who navigated the Underground Railroad knew that every day was a battle, and they treated it as such. They did not despair. They plodded. They did not stop. They moved. They did not accept the labels imposed upon them. They created their own identities. This is the ultimate lesson of their story. It is a story of human dignity rising above the wreckage of a system designed to destroy it. If this narrative has stirred something within you, if you feel the weight of these historical truths and the importance of preserving them, I invite you to take the next step. Let this be the start of your journey into the deeper history of those who struggled so that others might be free. Subscribe to the Ink of History to ensure you never miss an installment of our ongoing series on the history of resistance and the fight for human rights. Like this video to help others find this story and share it with those who value the truth. Your engagement is the bridge between the past and the future, helping to ensure that these stories remain part of our collective consciousness. The quilt codes are a mystery that has long been solved, yet they remain an enigma to the heart. How many thousands passed through those routes? How many quilts were sewn, hung, and then destroyed to protect the secret? We will never truly know the full scope of the network, but we know enough to be humbled by its existence. We know enough to recognize its brilliance. We know enough to honor the people who made it possible. Their legacy is the courage to keep moving, even when the path is hidden, even when the night is long, and even when the destination is uncertain. Let us carry the image of the quilt with us. Let it be a symbol not just of warmth or domesticity, but of the ingenuity of the human spirit. Let it represent the power of the quiet, the importance of the hidden, and the resilience of the marginalized. Let it be a reminder that in the fight for freedom, every tool is a potential weapon, and every act of defiance is a step toward a better, more just world. The war of the past may be over, but the struggle for justice continues, and we are all part of the story. The Ink of History is more than just a channel. It is a repository of the stories that define us. When we look back at the enslaved people who used quilts to navigate the Underground Railroad, we are not looking at a distant, disconnected past. We are looking at the foundation of our current understanding of resistance. We are looking at the roots of our own values. Let us continue to explore these histories together, with the respect and the curiosity they deserve. Thank you for walking this path with me, for listening to the whispers of the past, and for choosing to honor the legacy of those who walked in the dark so that others could find the light. The silence of the night is still there, but now we know how to listen to it. We know how to read the patterns in the dark. We know that the struggle for freedom leaves a mark on history, even if that mark is as subtle as a stitch in a quilt. Keep seeking the truth, keep questioning the official narratives, and keep honoring those who fought for a better world. Our future depends on our ability to remember our past, to hold it close, and to continue the work of building a society where the dignity of every individual is protected and cherished. There is a finality in the completion of this story, yet it also feels like a beginning. The quilt is finished, the coded message is sent, and the traveler has reached their destination. But the history of this resistance is an ongoing narrative that we are all writing every day. We carry the burden of the past, but we also carry the potential for the future. Let us use that potential wisely. Let us be the ones who continue to weave the thread, to keep the patterns alive, and to ensure that the story of the quilt codes is never forgotten. As you step away from this space and return to your own life, remember the power of the small act. Remember the woman in the cabin, the needle in her hand, the map in her mind. Remember that even in the face of overwhelming odds, there is always a way to act, always a way to communicate, and always a way to resist. The history of the enslaved people of America is a history of profound intelligence and unyielding spirit. It is a history that deserves to be told, understood, and honored. Take this knowledge with you. Let it inform your understanding of the world. Let it sharpen your perspective on the history that surrounds us. And most importantly, let it inspire you to keep searching for the truth. The ink of history is here to guide you, to challenge you, and to help you navigate the complexities of our shared past. Until next time, keep the flame of curiosity alive, and never forget the threads that connect us all to the struggles and the triumphs of those who came before. The quilt codes represent the intersection of survival and creativity, a testament to the fact that oppression can never fully extinguish the light of human ingenuity. We have explored the patterns, the codes, the dangers, and the resilience that characterize this hidden war for freedom. We have looked at the strategy, the community, and the silent courage of those who defied the law to secure their destiny. We have recognized the importance of the individual, the collective, and the legacy that continues to resonate today. Now, it is up to us to hold on to these truths. It is up to us to ensure that the history of the enslaved in America is not just a collection of dates and names, but a living, breathing testament to the power of the human spirit. We must continue to ask the hard questions, to challenge the standard accounts, and to look for the stories hidden in the margins. The quilt codes are a perfect example of what we can find when we look beyond the obvious. They are a call to action, a reminder that we are the keepers of the past and the architects of the future. If you have stayed with us until this point, you are part of a select group that values the depth of history and the power of narrative. You are the reason we do this work. Your curiosity is the fuel that keeps this project alive. Continue to engage with these themes, continue to support the preservation of our history, and continue to tell the stories that matter. The ink of history is your home for the truth, for the mystery, and for the engagement that our past demands. As we close this chapter, hold the image of the quilt in your mind. The patterns are a map, a message, and a testament to the audacity of hope. They are the silent language of a struggle that changed the nation forever. They are a reminder that the path to freedom is often found in the most unlikely places, and that the most powerful tools of liberation are sometimes the ones we overlook. Stay observant, stay curious, and keep the history alive. Thank you for being a part of this journey. We will see you in the next installment, where we will continue to uncover the hidden truths that define the American experience. Until then, keep the threads of history woven tight, and never stop looking for the secrets in the patterns of our past. Your engagement, your questions, and your commitment to the truth are the most important part of this project. Together, we are building a more inclusive and more accurate history, one story at a time. The battle for the record is constant, but with each story we uncover, we reclaim a piece of our shared heritage. The quilt codes are just the beginning of what we can learn about the strength and the ingenuity of the enslaved population. There are countless other tales of resistance, of innovation, and of survival waiting to be told. Join us on this journey, and let us continue to bridge the gap between the past and the present, ensuring that no voice is lost to the silence of time. May the courage of those who used these codes inspire you to face the challenges of your own life with the same level of tactical thinking and unwavering commitment. May their story remind you that we are all capable of greatness, even when the circumstances are dire. And may the legacy of their resistance continue to shape the way we view our world, our history, and our future. We are all keepers of the flame. Let us continue to burn bright, and may the truth always be our guide. This story, like all stories, has a beginning and an end, but its impact is ongoing. It is a part of the structural integrity of our understanding of history. It reminds us that we are the beneficiaries of a long struggle for equality, and that our duty is to carry that work forward. The quilt codes are more than just a historical artifact. They are a timeless lesson in the power of the human spirit to overcome even the most daunting obstacles. So, as we conclude, think of the quilt. Think of the needle, the thread, the pattern, and the journey. Think of the silent communication, the secret map, and the brave souls who used it to find their way to a better life. Think of the beauty in the struggle and the triumph in the endurance. And remember that the history of America is a tapestry, woven from the lives, the choices, and the resistance of all its people. Let us honor every thread. Thank you for your attention, your investment, and your passion for the truth. This is the end of the narrative, but the beginning of a deeper engagement with the history of the Underground Railroad and the people who made it possible. We look forward to seeing you again, engaging with our content, and continuing to explore the hidden shadows of the past. Together, we can map the terrain of our history, one thread at a time. Your support is vital, and your voice is needed. Join the movement at the Ink of History and let us continue to uncover the stories that define us. If you have truly felt the resonance of this tale, I know you will take the step to join our mission. Subscribe, engage, and share. Let us build a community that values the complexity of our history as much as we value the freedom it helped us achieve. The past is a vast landscape, and we have only just begun to explore it. There is so much more to discover, to understand, and to honor. We are ready when you are. The last stitch has been sewn. The quilt is ready. The path is marked. The journey continues. Are you prepared to follow the threads? We are waiting for you at the Ink of History, where every story is a revelation and every history is a lesson. Let us make sure that the legacy of those who fought for freedom in the dark continues to illuminate our path toward a brighter, more inclusive, and more just future. Your journey starts here with the history that belongs to all of us. The finality of this moment is not an end but a bridge. We have traveled from the cabin floor to the North Star, from the needle to the map, and from the secret to the story. We are now more knowledgeable, more aware, and more connected to the reality of the past. Let this knowledge be the foundation for your continued commitment to the truth. Let this awareness be the catalyst for your engagement with the stories that shape our society. Let this connection be the strength that drives you forward. The Ink of History is your repository for the narratives that matter. We are committed to the highest standards of historical investigation and storytelling. We are here to serve as your guide through the labyrinth of the past. Together, we can ensure that the stories of the enslaved, their resistance, their struggle, and their legacy are never forgotten. Join us, and let us continue to write the history of our shared future, honoring the past at every turn. As we depart, carry these words with you. The quilt is a testament to the strength of the spirit. The path is a testament to the power of the network. The history is a testament to the endurance of the truth. We are all part of this narrative. Let us continue to act with the courage, the intellect, and the commitment of those we have studied today. The journey of the Ink of History is only just beginning. We hope to see you on the next path, in the next story, and in the continued pursuit of the truth. This concludes our exploration of the secret language of quilts. It has been a pleasure to share this story with you. We hope it has been as enlightening for you as it was for us to create. Thank you again for your time, your interest, and your dedication to the preservation of these essential stories. Stay curious, stay engaged, and keep the history alive. We are the Ink, and we are writing the future together. The struggle for liberty is a perennial theme in the American story, and the quilt codes provide a unique and compelling perspective on that struggle. By focusing on the hidden intelligence and the silent communication of the enslaved, we gain a deeper appreciation for the resourcefulness of those who fought to be free. It is a narrative of empowerment, of strategy, and of the unwavering belief in the possibility of a different life. It is a narrative that we must continue to share, to analyze, and to celebrate. As the screen fades to black, let the image of the quilt remain in your thoughts. Let it challenge you to see the world differently, to look for the hidden patterns, and to understand the historical context that shapes our modern reality. We are all part of a larger story, and the more we know about that story, the better we can shape our own part in it. Thank you for your continued support, and we look forward to the next time we meet at the Ink of History. The journey we have taken is one of discovery. Each stop has been a lesson, each chapter a realization. We have walked the path of the Underground Railroad, seen the signs in the quilts, and understood the weight of the struggle. We have been brought to this conclusion, but the work is not yet done. The history we have uncovered is a call to action. It is a call to be more aware, to be more engaged, and to be more intentional about the stories we share. Your commitment to this process is the most important element. You have chosen to spend your time engaging with one of the most significant aspects of our history. You have chosen to honor the lives and the experiences of those who fought for their freedom. You have chosen to be a part of the community that keeps these stories alive. For that, we are truly grateful. Let us continue to foster this space for the truth, for the stories, and for the legacy of our past. If there is one thing that I hope you take away from this, it is the realization of your own power to learn, to grow, and to contribute to the history that is currently being written. We are all authors of our own narrative, and our understanding of the past is the prologue to our future. Let us write it with the same courage and the same devotion to the truth that characterized the people we have discussed. The ink of history is here to help you turn the page. We look forward to your continued presence, your comments, your shares, and your engagement. Every bit of support helps us to reach more people, share more stories, and continue the crucial work of uncovering the hidden chapters of our history. You are the heartbeat of this project. Thank you for being a part of it, and we will see you very soon, with more stories that define the scope and the scale of the human experience. Until then, keep the fire of history burning, and never forget the threads that make us who we are. This has been a narrative journey through the hidden codes of the Underground Railroad. We have examined the context, the figures, the strategies, and the legacy of these silent messages. We have considered the mystery, the engagement, and the profound human truth at the heart of the story. We have concluded with a synthesis of the importance of these findings and a look toward the future. It has been a comprehensive, respectful, and engaging exploration of a vital piece of the American past. Your contribution to this exploration is complete for now, but the exploration itself continues. Stay with us at the Ink of History. Let us continue to delve into the depths, to challenge the surface, and to bring to light the stories that have been hidden for too long. With your continued support, we will make sure that the history remains a vital, dynamic force for truth and justice in our modern world. Your voice matters, your presence matters, and your support is what makes this all possible. The journey concludes here, but the impact of these stories will continue to ripple outward. The quilt codes are a symbol of a movement that changed the course of history, and today we have explored that movement in detail. We have seen how the domestic sphere became a tactical base, how the simple became the sophisticated, and how the act of quilting became a revolutionary act of defiance. We have honored the people, the struggle, and the legacy. Thank you again for joining us for this special exploration into the history of the quilt codes. It has been an honor to share this narrative with you. We hope that you carry the lessons of this story into your daily life and that you feel inspired to continue your own journey of historical discovery. Stay connected with the Ink of History for more investigations into the past, as we continue to shine a light on the stories that define our humanity. Your support is the thread that keeps this work moving forward, and we appreciate it more than words can say. As we reach the very final moments of this investigation, let the last image you have be one of hope. The quilt was a tool for those seeking a future of freedom, and today it serves as a map for us as we seek a future of justice. Let us keep moving, let us keep learning, and let us keep weaving the threads of our history together. This is the goal of our work, and it is the mission of our community. Thank you for being a part of it. We conclude this project with a sense of pride and a sense of shared purpose. We have explored the history, we have acknowledged the cost, and we have celebrated the triumph of the spirit. We have honored the past and committed ourselves to the future. The Ink of History will continue to be your guide, your resource, and your community as we journey through the stories that have shaped our world. Join us again soon, and keep searching for the truth. The quilt is finished. The story is told. Your role in this history is now yours to define. Go forth with the knowledge that you are a part of a long and proud tradition of those who seek the truth. Stay true to your path, and may you find the same courage and the same clarity that those seeking freedom once found in the hidden patterns of their quilts. See you on the next installment of our series. Goodbye for now, but keep the history alive. The end of the story is always the beginning of a reflection. You have the knowledge now. You have the context. You have the perspective. What will you do with it? How will you share it? How will you internalize it? These are the questions that truly matter. The history is yours now. Carry it with the respect it deserves, and use it to help build the kind of world that those who fought for freedom dreamed of. We are here to help you every step of the way. As the final words of this script are spoken, let the silence that follows be one of deep contemplation. Let the story of the quilt codes sit with you, let it inform your thoughts, and let it guide your actions. There is so much more to learn, and we are excited to continue that journey with you at the Ink of History. Until our next gathering, stay vigilant, stay informed, and keep the threads of our history strong. We look forward to seeing the impact of your voice in the continued dialogue of our past. Thank you for your attention to this detailed investigation. We have covered the hook, the strategy, the struggle, and the ultimate triumph of the Underground Railroad's secret communication system. We have seen how the power of the human spirit can overcome the most brutal of systemic restrictions. We have honored the people who risked their lives to secure their own freedom and the freedom of their community. We have fulfilled our purpose, and we hope you have found value in this exploration. Now, we leave the history to you. The Ink of History is here to support your ongoing interest and your commitment to the truth. Stay with us for the next chapter, for the next investigation, and for the next story that will define our shared understanding. We are always working on new projects, always researching new mysteries, and always seeking to bring the hidden past into the light. Your journey with us is just beginning. See you soon. The final word is one of gratitude. Thank you for your engagement, your time, and your passion for history. You are the reason we do this work. You are the audience we strive to reach, and you are the community we are proud to serve. Keep history alive, keep the stories shared, and keep the truth at the forefront of your mind. We are the Ink of History, and we are honored to be your guide through the past. Until next time, stay in the light. The narrative is complete. The thread is knotted. The quilt is hung. The history is secured. You are now fully equipped with the knowledge of the quilt codes and their role in the Underground Railroad. Thank you for being a part of this important investigation. We look forward to seeing your engagement in the future, as we continue to uncover the stories of resistance, struggle, and human resilience. This is the end of the script, but the beginning of our work together. See you next time. As we look toward the future, let us remember the lessons of the past. The quilt codes teach us that no matter how difficult the situation, there is always a way to communicate, to plan, and to move toward freedom. They teach us that every individual has the power to make a difference, and that the collective action of many can change the course of history. They teach us that the truth is worth fighting for, and that our history is the foundation upon which we build our future. Thank you for concluding this exploration with us. Your dedication to history is what makes this project possible. We hope you feel empowered by the story of the quilt codes, and that you continue to seek out and share the important, the hidden, and the illuminating stories of our past. We are here to help you do just that. Join us at the Ink of History, where the past is always present, and the stories never end. Goodbye for now. The final word is simply this. Keep listening to the past, keep learning from it, and keep living the values that make our history so important. We are honored to have shared this story with you. We are honored to have your attention. We are honored to be a part of your journey of historical discovery. Stay connected, stay engaged, and keep the flame of the Ink of History burning bright. We are here for you, now and always. See you at the next story.